Welcome to Lifestyle After 5. If you know me, I'm no stranger when it comes to hanging around the cigar world. Well, I was sent this mystery pack of multiple cigars by this mystery couple that I've never met. And they told me it is 5 cigars that I must smoke in here if I do nothing else for this month of June. Here to join me is Patrick and Victoria, the mystery couple. And they say it's 5 cigars that I and you also must smoke. Want to know what those 5 is? Stay tuned. We're going to talk all about it. Welcome to our show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, Victoria. Victoria and Patrick are sitting in with us today, and they are cigar aficionados. I pronounced that term right.
Aficionados, you're good.
Aficionados, officially, we
Thank you.
getting an education here tonight. And they have been smoking for a while. They are cigar, I would consider them experts because they know more than I am. I'm somewhat from a novice to moving into the middle when it comes to cigars.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how we all started,
Yeah,
really.
I mean, that's how I was. I started off with the lighter stuff, the milder stuff, the kind of infused and the flavored type stuff. And it's a natural progression, but, you smoke what you like. You smoke what makes you feel good. If you don't want to move up to something heavy, don't move up to something heavy. Enjoy what you're doing. That's all you
Well,
can
I
do, man.
started out with the Fat Bottom Betty. I always subscribe it to any beginner that's trying to
Yes.
Hmm.
smoke for the very first time. Is the Fat Bottom. And I've since then have moved on. Now, the 5 cigars that you told me I must smoke, why those 5?
So with these five, it's kind of like an intro to each kind of level. Starting off with like the number one. That it's a sweeter. It's the same line as the Fat Bottom Betty. It's going to be the Sweet Jane. It comes with the sweet tip. So you have that sweet tobacco, but you also have different notes of creaminess. You have a little bit of earthiness. A little bit of pepper, but nothing too bad. And then you kind of progress naturally through it. And as you progress, you're going to see different, you're going to get different notes. You'll have different flavor profiles.
Yeah.
And, going on to like whenever you progress, you'll be able to tell the difference between, no problem. It didn't, trust me, I didn't get it the very first couple years, but developing my palate, I kind of learned, hey, you know what, this is what this tastes like. That's what that tastes like. And it's just kind of a good experience trying to figure out what each cigar kind of tastes like and what you like the
Yeah.
best.
So these 5 are kind of the steps that we started with. I didn't progress through all 5. It gets really earthy and peppery as you go higher up in the level. So I prefer mild and sweet, and that's why I tend to stick with the Sweet Jane.
Which is great. And I like the way that you progressed them with the Sweet Jane, which we're going to show, which is actually our cigar number one. That
Hmm.
you can see it on the screen. The cigar, the Sweet Jane. It kind of reminds me of the Fat Bottom Betty.
Same line.
Yeah, it's the same line, made by the same, Drew Estate. They make both them. It's just kind of like a different tobacco. It's not as sweet,
Mhm.
but it's
Hmm.
also, it's just different flavor profiles, like how the tobacco's grown, has different fillers. I believe the Fat Bottom Betty might be Nicaraguan, whereas the Sweet Jane's going to be your, Dominican binders and kind of fillers and all that, and it all creates different profiles from there.
Do you have a preference of like whether Nicaraguan or Dominican? Of course, the
Um,
Cuban always is everybody's favorite. Most people's favorite will want the Cuban.
yeah, I mean, well, so Cubans, that's completely different. It's the way they roll their cigars. It's the way they grow them. You know, those are old world cigars is what they would call it, because those are the Cuban ones. Those are and what we have and what I sent you, those are new world cigars. So they're still handmade, but some of them could be machine made.
Mhm.
It's just different processes, but going into it, you have your long fillers, your short fillers, you have your wrapper, and like I said, as you progress, you're gonna kind of know what you like. And like my preference, I like the San Andreas Maduro wrapper because it's a chocolatier. It's kind of it's a darker cigar. It's a little bit heavier. Whereas if you're smoking the Fat Bottom Betty, it's Connecticut broadleaf, and that's on the lighter side, but don't get me wrong. You can have a light cigar, but it'll still be heavy. But you'll tell the difference between it. I prefer a little bit of harder. I progress to the harder stuff, but that's just me because
I'm getting there to that point
yeah,
too, where the fat bottom Betty, it just it used to soothe me and comfort me, kind of like the sweet Jane, but now it's to the point where I need a little bit stronger. I need medium to stronger now.
hmm
I don't know if that's a good thing. So, just a little bit about your journey. How long have the two of you been smoking, and what got you into cigars?
Well, he's always smoked here and there. And one day we were out at a restaurant, and this guy was smoking a cigar, and I was like, "Man, it smells good." I've always loved the way that they smell.
yeah,
And so I asked the guy, I was like, "Hey, what are you smoking?" He told us, and he was like, "I have an extra one." Gave it to my husband. And it turns out that he works at a cigar lounge here in San Antonio, which is Cigars International.
hmm
And yeah, it just kind of took off from there. We went and we visited him at work, and he started suggesting cigars. And this was what, maybe 2 years ago?
yeah, almost three.
Yeah,
Now, yeah.
almost 3 years ago. And so we just like progressively started getting more involved in the cigar world. This year we started going to cigar festivals and just different events. He's a lot more of the aficionado than I am. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I smoke, I enjoy it, but yeah, I tend to stick to the sweet stuff. I can't do anything probably stronger than a sweet Jane.
And that's fine. And you bring up a good point because a lot of women here in the last 5 years are getting introduced and are coming into the cigar world.
So, fun fact, there's a lot more women in the cigar world in terms of business. A lot of the families, that own the tobacco farms, they're women that now own the tobacco farms. We even took a cigar rolling class, trying to learn how to roll our own cigars. And yeah, even the guy was like, women just naturally can roll a cigar better.
Yeah.
Our hands are daintier, whatever the case may be. I was hesitant as a female coming into the cigar world. I thought it was a man's game. I thought it was going to be, all the good old boys just shooting the stick or whatever. But the amount of women I see at these events and these lounges is just, it's empowering. To me, it's empowering.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like it. I like when we're out and somebody kind of looks over at me like I'm smoking a cigar, and it's like, yeah, I can do this shit too. Come on.
It's the new golf. I call smoking cigars the new golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
A
yeah.
lot of business professionals smoke cigars. The conversation is different. It's a lot chill the vibe. Like I said, a lot of women have gotten into the mix. Now, among smokers, there's this thing about cigar bars. There are some that prefer music and they want to hear music and socialize, and it's kind of like a club when you're smoking cigars. There's I call them older school
hmm
aficionados that say, no, you got to sit down and you should enjoy your stick and quiet. There shouldn't be all that bumping around. I'm gonna go to the club. How can I enjoy my stick, as they call it, with all that bumpity bump in my ear and people
Yeah.
dancing and moving around? What's your thoughts on that?
It all goes back to personal preference. I
Yeah.
mean, us personally, we're not like the going out type. We're
Yeah,
already like an
definitely
old
not.
married couple. 9 o'clock, hey, bedtime. Let's get
Go to
going.
bed, yeah.
So, but I enjoy the music personally. I don't mind it. You got the music going. You have a nice drink. You got your cigar. Just the whole vibe is relaxing, and that's the point of smoking. For us is just to relax and decompress.
And so I've been in both too, like Cigar Internationals, that has a bar. They play music. They have certain, events that go on during the month where they have a DJ or they have somebody special there. And I also do go to lounges where there's no music, it's quiet, but you actually, I guess, you're in a more intimate kind of situation where you kind of have to talk to somebody because it just feels awkward. But it just really goes back to personal preference. I enjoy the music. I enjoy having a drink. But I also enjoy sometimes, I just rather be in my own head, enjoying my cigar. It's just how you're feeling at the moment. Don't let it kind of push you away from trying it because you're never going to know until you try it.
Wow. So what would you say with our second cigar, the Olivia Master Blend?
So that's that's a medium cigar. It's going to the medium side, I should say. It's kind of a good
Like
gateway. It's a good gateway, kind of like a gateway drug, but it's a kind of a gateway into the more medium cigars. It has a lot of creaminess to it. It's still a little bit on the sweeter side. The tip's a little sweeter. It's not like your harsh tobaccos. And what it is, it's an all-around excellent cigar. It's one of the fewer cigars that get passed up because Oliva is such a big brand. It gets passed up a lot, but it's a very great cigar going into, the more medium to stronger categories.
Oh, great. So, ladies, if you're looking to step up and you're tired of the sweet cigar and you want to step it up and take you there, the feelings. Victoria, have you smoked the Olivia?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I look at him because he just hands me a cigar and I'll smoke it because he knows what I like. But yeah, I tend to like anything that has like a chocolate note, creamy, and or if he likes it and he says, hey, I think you're gonna like this, then I'll give it a go.
Now, as a female woman, what type of drinks do you like to pair your cigars with?
Just personally, I like margaritas. I like tequila. So, but if I'm really trying to just relax, I'll have a sangria with it or a glass of wine.
Ah, now sangria and that sweet Jane, I could see that, or a fat bottom Betty, I could see that going well together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know there's a lot of wines that pair really well with cigars. There are some drinks that don't pair well with cigars.
Yes.
Like if you get like a rum runner or something with pineapple juice, no.
Yeah, it might not.
I learned that the hard way. I was like, this doesn't taste the same. My other favorite is an espresso martini, especially with like the Java flavored cigars. It just enhances that Java flavor.
Yeah, coffee goes well. I smoked a cigar the other night that went well. I could see why it would go well with a chocolate drink, coffee, or something like that.
Definitely. Your stouts, stouts pretty good with some of the, because it's chocolatey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that if you're new to the cigar world, that the drink pairing is just choosing the correct drink is just as important as choosing the right cigar.
Exactly. But it's still like personal preference. I'm not too big of a drinker, but if I do, I'm kind of mindful, like, hey, I'll have a whiskey sour, with a little bit of a stronger cigar because it'll cut through some of the pepper. Or, if I want a lighter cigar in the morning, I'll have it with my coffee and it just enhances the creaminess. But it literally just goes down to preferences. And you know what? I enjoy soda with it too.
That was going to be my next question. What type of soda would you recommend with a cigar?
A Dr. Pepper, the Dr. Pepper cream soda, root beer, the creamy ones with it. I was
going to say it's the vanilla. I think it's the vanilla.
The vanilla enhances a lot.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm not a vanilla soda fan, but if you smoke that with the right cigar, a fat bottom Betty or something chocolate, that may actually go well together.
Yeah.
And it enhances it when, some of the creaminess, it just makes it a better experience. And there's different sodas, you have your cherry. Once again, you just pair it with whatever you feel. It's just your preference, but
you'll learn. Yeah. You'll learn what's going to taste good and what doesn't.
That's true. You gotta experiment for you gotta experiment. So there's no right or wrong answer.
Well, we got the number 3. So we got the notable Johnny Tobacco Knot.
Yes.
It says an adaptive flow. Now, I don't know what adaptive flow means.
So so this one, you're gonna, with the milder cigars, you're either gonna do a straight cut. There's different cuts in the cigar, industry. You have your V cut, your punch cut, your straight cut, your crown cut. So many cuts. But this one, you're probably gonna more focus on the bigger cuts, which is a V cut, personally. So a V cut actually opens up the cap a little more. And it's kind of like what I have on mine. You probably can't see it, but it's literally a V right down the center.
I'm a fan of the V cut. I like the V cuts as well.
So it opens up the cigar a little more. And, going into your medium cigars, you want to do that because you're going to take in a little bit more of the smoke and you're going to get a little bit more of the flavors. With the Johnny Tobacco Knot, it has a Connecticut wrapper, but the internals, the fillers and the short fillers, the long fillers, it's a little bit more peppery. It's going to be a little bit stronger. And this is where it gets into the medium, and it's actually made by one of the biggest cigar manufacturers, AJ Fernandez. He's helped create that with Room 101. That's where the Johnny Tobacco on is. But he literally has his hands in everything, and he's a master crafter.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's something else too. You like some people only like certain brands of cigar like that. He has a big following. He has more than 100 different cigars on the market. So for every taste, you have something there. And some people just like me, like I don't care what brand it is. I'll try it. I'll smoke it. If I don't like it, I won't get it again.
I fell in love with the Rocky Patels, although I don't a lot of. I visit some clubs, some cigar clubs. Pendulum being one. I've been to some different cigar shops, and they don't seem to be a fan of Rocky Patel in the Dallas Fort Worth area, from what I found.
So it's also it kind of ties into like social media and what people are saying. So there's a couple bad brands which really aren't like really bad brands. Gurkha, that's they make some quality cigars, but they also make some very inexpensive cigars, so they can be a hit and miss. Now, is in my experience, the longer you let them sit and kind of age in your humidor, the better they get. Rocky Patel is also the same thing. They have a lot of beginning, mid, and then high end cigars. Whereas you get into the higher end cigars, they're going to be a little bit better. Say the Year of the Dragon, the Year of the Snake, those just came out. Those are your $30 range cigars. Of course, they're going to be a little bit better crafted. That doesn't mean they're going to be better than a $6 cigar, but there's going to be a little more that goes into it compared to your the Rocky Patel, like the Edge or like the Java, something like that. So
I smoked a Disciple, and that Disciple, boy, that was the first time I had a cigar, and I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah,
You were some when they say full body. That was
Yeah.
almost an outer body.
Yeah.
I took it too lightly. I think I may have smoked it too fast, but it's like I smoked it. It's like I just feel like I got this energy I don't know what to do with, and then I'm in circles, and now I'm just sitting there, and I just had to lay on the floor, and then it's like I need water. I had to eat an apple. And I was like, it's definitely
So
some power into that.
Yeah, fun fact. I didn't know this, but when you smoke cigars, it lowers your blood
It
sugar.
lowers your blood sugar.
So after you're done smoking, I always notice I was like, man, I'm hungry or I want something sweet. Well, it lowers your blood sugar. So if you're sitting there smoking 3 or 4 cigars, you're gonna need something to supplement that sugar afterwards.
Which is funny you should bring that up because it also speeds up your metabolism because if your blood sugar is lower, you're burning calories. Now, I'm not recommending cigars as a way of losing weight or other health risks that come along with that. But if you are smoking, unlike drinking where you're putting the calories on, this is actually burning calories as you're smoking.
Yes.
Where we at? Number 4. We are with the Liga Privada.
Yes.
Liga Privada. I love
Liga
it.
Privada.
Yeah, it's a Liga Privada number 9. They have a whole line of it. So this is going to be Drew Estate, just like your mild cigar, like the Sweet Jane. It's going to be, but this is kind of like their flagship cigar. So it's going to be a little bit on the higher price point, but it's earthy, it's peppery, it has the San Andreas wrappers, so it's going to be chocolatey. It's going to have that retro hell peppery back end notes to it. And that's actually what I'm smoking right now is the number 9, but this is a pig form. There's different sizes. It's just different.
I actually like the smell of this one.
Yeah, I
think I
enjoy that one.
That was actually our first anniversary cigar. When we first got into the game, that was the first one that was recommended to us, and
smoked it together.
I think it's on my top 5 all around that I've ever smoked in my life. So that's how.
And you enjoyed it too, as well, Victoria, as a person that only likes sweet.
Yeah, I did because I just don't like the really peppery or earthy notes, and this does have that, but it's very subtle. And it's such a good, smooth smoke. I mean, it took us like 3 hours to smoke the size that we sent you.
The two of you together?
Yeah.
Well, we
No,
each had one.
Yeah, we each had one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we weren't sharing that
No.
one. That was the anniversary one. But it was that cigar that really got us into pursuing this hobby together.
Yeah.
You know, that's where a lot of time is now spent just smoking cigars.
That's pretty much.
It's a nice conversation piece.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the Pendulum Cigar Lounge and they had the music going, and some couples came in. They were like, "This is not going to be rowdy," and it's like, no, people have cigars in their hand. I'm like, it's kind of hard to fight when you have spent $10 to $12 on a cigar, $15 cigar, and then you got a drink in your hand. Your hands is consumed the whole night with something in it.
Mhm.
You're not trying to put your hands up to fight. You're trying to chill out, and the tobacco is relaxing you, and you want a nice conversation, and that's typically what people do. And even when I lived in North Carolina, when I used to go to Taylor Smoke, that was their thing, and their motto was, everybody's going through something when they come in there, and they train their staff to look out for that. You know, that somebody had a bad day at work. Hey, find out what type of stick he want and what type of drink, and he may just want to be left the hell alone. Give him his drink and his smoke and leave him the hell alone. Some people may want to socialize. So this is really a new social movement well, I call it new, but it's always been around. But typically you looked at, it was kind of an older Italian white guy mobbish type deal.
Yes, definitely.
In Scarface were, but it's always been associated with business deals. You know, sitting around a lot of money, cutting a business deal over a cigar.
I think it's mainly because of the luxury of it. There was a point in time where it was exclusive, you know, like only people with money to spare could afford a really good cigar. Whereas now they're so readily available to just regular people, you know? So that's why it's always associated with like business and, you know, like CEOs and stuff like that. Oh, having a baby.
It's a boy. It's a girl.
Having a baby, something good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now, you know, it's just really accessible. And I feel like the social movement of it comes in because of that.
Yes.
And because it attracts so many different people. You know, it's not just like, oh, you can look at someone and be like, oh, they smoke cigars.
Yeah.
You know,
we actually got into this world by accident.
How was that?
Well, when I lived in Maryland, I would looking for something to do, and I didn't really, you know, I'm older now, so I don't really deal with the rowdy bunch and everything. I would go to cigar bars. Actually, my friends used to smoke cigars, but I never did. My friends back in the day, I lived in Atlanta, were heavy into cigars and different brands than my father's and everything. But I didn't smoke, and I didn't say every now and then I may take something, the cheapest cigar, I would ask for the cheapest thing that they had, and I would kind of smoke that and play with it. But as I traveled, you know, I found myself at cigar bars. And what happened, I started going to this cigar bar in North Carolina, Charlotte area, and I became friends with the owner, got to know the owner and Taylor Smoke. And so we were just doing a podcast at this time because we're a lifestyle brand. And so I didn't even see the vision then of what of going together of, you know, lifestyle and cigars. And then I asked him to do a podcast. It was his birthday coming up. Me, Lord Shoot, and all, we got together and we did a podcast at his shop. And it was people from everywhere, from Atlanta. I mean, he knew everybody in the cigar world. Well, lo and behold, we brought cameras. We went to both his locations, and he introduced us to everybody. So now we know all these cigar people, and so we started going there smoking. So now we know, you know, Cigar Peaches in Atlanta. We know we done a podcast here at Dallas Leaf, Monte Cristo's Dallas Leaf.
Yeah.
We just started going all over doing cigar interviews, and it just kind of took off where, okay, I guess this is our thing. And cigars being the highest viewed videos that we had, it's like, okay, now I kind of like smoking cigars. I actually went to Cuba last year, and that video is also posted on our YouTube channel. I went to
saw
Cuba
that video.
and got the privilege of actually being in the field when they were rolling it and learning the leaf, the different parts of the tobacco leaf, and it was very educational.
Yeah, so much goes into it. Like I said, we've taken cigar rolling classes, and it's so interesting. Like, it's, for us, it's kind of gone beyond just, oh, we're smoking to relax. You know, ultimately, the goal is to be in business.
Yes.
Something entailing cigars, you know. So like you said, it's a lifestyle.
I can't wait till you get your business. I need to know some more cigar bar owners.
And
That way
it's crazy because with how social media is, like I've met people in Australia, in
Mhm.
England. We all just come together, and we all love the same thing. So they can get stuff we can, and we can get stuff they can't. So it's always good to have people outside of your area to kind of like, all right.
Now, this last one, number 5, I'm very curious about how it's going to hit the Espinosa La Bama Warhead X
Yeah.
Strike Hard. What a hell of a name there.
Yes. Now that one is what we call pepper bomb. So it's going to be really strong. It's full throttle. It's full bodied. It's If you haven't eaten and you smoke that cigar, it will literally put you on your ass.
Yeah, it'll hit you.
That is another warning.
Yes. So warning, with anything medium and kind of up. I love it.
Yeah.
With anything medium, kind of make sure you have something in your stomach, even if it's a Rice Krispies treat or some chips, just something to be in there because it'll it's like drinking. If you drink on an empty stomach, you're going to get messed up real fast and you're not going to enjoy it. So that's just my warning. With that one, it's a pepper. It's the same kind of the San Andreas wrapper, but with the inside, it's kind of Ligero. It's made up with different fillers. They don't really disclose everything, and that was last year's release. They're coming out with the 11 this year. It's kind of a different blend every year, so it's a different flavor. So once they sell out of those, that's it. That's all they're gonna have of those until the next year and the next year. But sometimes they bring them back. But that one it's an excellent cigar. It might be the one that kind of puts you into, maybe I do like full bodied because that brings out so many different notes into it, and you might just like full bodied after that. Like, all right, I can't go down as much as I can't have a Sweet Jane all the time anymore, or Fat Bottom Betty. Like, I just want to.
That's when you got some real stress.
Yeah. It will knock you on your butt. I'm just telling you, it's a great cigar.
It looks like these two are going to be my favorite. The darker one, I'm going to try those. I'm going to try them all. I might bring in a little help and get their review. Now, you have an honorable mention here.
Yes.
I can't even begin to pronounce the Dunbarton Sanbrista Bruley
Wagashi.
Yeah. I don't even know how to ask for that.
You can just ask for the Wagashi. And honestly, that's another the one that I sent you is also another kind of limited edition one. But that's going to be your all-around cigar. It's very in the middle of everything. It kind of has your strong notes, but it also has the sweetness, the creaminess of like your Fat Bottom Betty. So it's really, really in the middle of everything, and it's a great morning cigar. But it's also a great in the middle of the day cigar, or even a nighttime cigar as a nightcap. It's a great all-around cigar that you can have. And they do make other versions of that one. It's kind of their main line of it, but that one right there it's great. I think you'll really enjoy, especially if you're kind of into the medium mild side. That'll help you also progress into, if you're looking to go that way, into the harder stuff. And that's just a great all-around cigar. I love it.
Oh, wow. Thank you for the honorable mention. I'm going to have to try this out. Typically, let's say if it's light to medium, so I guess it is new beginner friendly.
Yes.
Shall I say?
You'll definitely, that one pairs well with a soda. And I mean, in my opinion, a soda or a coffee. You can pull out more of the creaminess from it. But yeah, it'll definitely, I think it's user friendly for the medium. Going into the medium, it's still mild enough to not be, above medium. So you'll really enjoy that cigar.
Wow. So what I am going to do is, starting tonight, I am a 1 cigar smoker a day. I can't do 2 or 3.
That's perfectly fine.
I am going to start smoking each and every one of these starting tonight, and I'm going to record myself smoking these.
Okay.
And I'm going to solicit a little help as we pass back and forth. Although I kind of hate reviewing when you try to pass back and forth, because I think you contaminate the taste. Once you get the flavor of one cigar, it's hard to take, especially a lighter cigar, to
Yeah.
really appreciate it. But I am going to do a review, and if you like, we're gonna come back on here and we're gonna start talking about them,
Yeah.
each and every one of them.
I'm totally
Besides,
into that. Yeah.
and we still got another top fives to
Uh-huh.
reviews and talk about.
Yeah. Those,
So we
those
gotta
are
not.
special. Those are all special for you. You got a
I
couple
sure
ones
did.
that just came out too. So
So yeah, definitely you all got to come back as I review these and put my taste test together, my palate, see what my palate like and don't like. Definitely got to discuss, and I'll definitely got to come back and choose another five for me to pick out and smoke, and let everybody know what they should be going out to look for and what some of these cigar bars should be getting.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
I'm totally good for that. I love kind of sharing my knowledge, people who start off in, the beginning all the way to people who know what they're doing, I like it's a community, right? And I like people being part of the community, and I want them to help out just as much as I help out. So I know somebody will eventually give them the same advice that I'm giving them. They'll give to somebody else. So that's why I love the podcast, is because, and what you're doing is because you're kind of sharing your experience. So maybe somebody will find the same experience, or maybe even have a better experience with it, and just kind of move on and share their thoughts with it, and help out their friends and whatnot.
So I want to challenge everybody. If you listen to this podcast and you got a top five for it, send it to us. You can hit us on our website, www.aliafter5.com. Sure, we're going to put it on the screen here pretty soon. You catch us on our socials Lifestyle After 5 on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, hit us on our website. You'll see our email there and give us your top five list. We'll try them out, or feel free to hit us up if you got something that you want to share. We'll have you on. We'll share it, and that way we can share it with Patrick and Victoria. I'm gonna start calling y'all the aficionado experts, aficionado consultants. That's your new title now.
I like that.
I'm calling on that. I'm gonna share and run everything to my aficionado consultants.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, again, thank you for the cigars. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, anytime. If you like and you stuck with us this far, go ahead and like and subscribe. It's not that hard. Just a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. We appreciate all comments, good, bad. The ugly. We just like to comment. We just like hearing from you. Until next time, I'm Ali from After 5. Thanks again, Victoria and Patrick. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.